Hi everyone, this is Marion Mace from E=VS, Russian creative knowledge, where we help to bridge the gap between spirituality and science. Today we're going to talk about what it is to become a master and how we can make that shift from the third dimension, where our physical reality, into higher dimensions of our consciousness in the fifth dimension and beyond. Okay, so we all want to become a master of our physical reality, and to become a master we actually have to go inward and then experience the outward journey. And from the moment that we're young, we're taught that we're disconnected and we're on a bit of a battle moving from childhood into adulthood, and sometimes feeling that we're very much alone and not connected to anything or anyone, that it's all about us against the external reality. One of the things that happens along the way, we seem to collect some baggage. So we either collect it emotionally or we collect it from our families, and even you can collect it and bring it from past lives and actually bring it into the current reality. So in fact, sometimes you're working off 6 generations of your family karma, if they call it that. So sometimes we have information and it just feels like there's so much to actually let go of. And when people come to us and they'll say, look, I've tried so many different things, I feel like I'm peeling away those layers of the onion to, become more whole and become more of myself. And in fact, I've still got stuff going on and I don't know why, and I don't know where I can go to sort it out. So one of the things that we have access to is some matrix technology called Time Waver. It's a German technology that is able to take a snapshot of you in time and space and actually have a look what's playing in your information field or your matrix. And this tells us on either a spiritual, physical, emotional, also what's happening chemically in your body, what you might have brought from your family, from past lives, and exactly what you are projecting into the outside world. So think of it like default programs in a computer. These are programs that are just resonating into the external world and then causing situations and people to sometimes give you some pain or some hardship. So it's a very cool technology, and in Time Waver there are 9,600 corrections. So not only do you get reports and telling you where and actually where to go and look, but it's also helping to correct some of those imbalances as well. So how does it actually work? Well, there's a lot of science behind there, a lot of quantum physics. Happy to share that information. Anybody who wants to drop me a line, I can certainly give you some more technical details. But in a snapshot, if I wanted to contact you, for instance, say I wanted to ring you on your phone, I would put in your code, which is your telephone number, and then it links me in the information field so that I'm able to communicate with you no matter where you are across the planet. Or you can think of it, if you're on a computer and you're wanting to find some information, you put in to the search engine what you're wanting to look for, and then it shows all the information fields that have the information you're looking for. So it's like a huge database of information. So Time Waver then gives you a snapshot and then gives you a path to navigate and know exactly who you or where and what you need to do to clear it up. And of course, we help people who've done some study with us to show them exactly the technology to help to erase that. So in our information field, there's a lot of information, as I said, that has been projected into external reality. Now, there's a whole lot of other things that are being talked about at the moment. And one of the things is, and I like to call it the enslavement system. Pretty dramatic name, but the enslavement system holds a whole lot of different elements in there, and it's crashing right as we speak. So some of those systems are, for instance, the political system. We're in Australia, and we certainly, most of us believe that the governments aren't really governing us, and there's always a lot of controversy. In the last 6 months, especially in our RCK study groups, when we had some Americans online, they were very polarised about what Donald Trump will and what having him elected will mean for America. And And there were certain people that, were looking from the point of view it's going to be devastating, and certain people going, what, we need change and we're not really happy with what was there before. So here's the outsider and let's see what he can do. But then there are other systems that we're enslaved in. So, for instance, the education system, which conditions us to sit down and be obedient and follow rules. It also conditions us to think that our left brain is the only part that is worth and valuable. And of course, we spend a good 12 years of our life and beyond conditioning ourselves to use our left brain. And our left brain is a slow processor. It only processes 24 bits or pictures per second, where our creative part of us, which is our right brain, operates at over 3,000 bits per second, and our heart brain operates at over 6,000 bits per second. I bet you didn't know that. Yes, we have a heart brain, and that's only just starting to be acknowledged by science, and even the medical people have discovered that there's also, the heart has a brain. It is able to remember. So some of the other systems that we want to look at is certainly the financial system. Currently, there is a equalising of the global financial system that's going on. Most of us see it in the external world with the dramas and the fear they try to put on us about lack of money and how will our kids afford a house, and you need to save for the rainy day, and all those sort of programs that they actually put in there. Last week, I think I dropped on our Facebook page, the E=VS Facebook page, some really interesting information from a third party about exactly what this global financial shift and what's happening and why it's happening. So if you want to jump on our Facebook page, you'll actually find it there. Then there's a medical system, and the medical system is very interesting. We've been taught to believe that if there's something goes wrong with us, then we need to head to the doctor because he can fix our problem. But just take a moment to think, when you cut your finger, what happens? The platelets go to the area, the skin starts to heal over a period of time, and you aren't doing anything except your whole body is in a constant state of repairing, even your cells, and there's 6 trillion actions per second for a cell. Your body is actually designed to heal itself under the right circumstances. In fact, if we go back in time, we listen to that old saying that food is our medicine, that everything that we need around us is in nature and also within us. So handing our power over to a doctor where in fact we are capable of healing ourselves is quite extraordinary. And some of you will know that Brian, my husband, he had stage 4 cancer, and the doctors told him that he would be on dialysis for the rest of his life, which he didn't accept, and was on it for 2 weeks, and that was it. So they tried to program you and put you into fear. They told him that his cancer would be back in 2 years. And that he had probably a life expectancy of 4 years. Brian went through 35 stages of chemo, and his body was pretty shattered after that. But here we are 6 years later, and he's just been given a clear bill of health, no cancer at all, because he realised that there are many levels to that he created it on many levels. Emotionally, there was a shock to the system, there was a trigger. So he actually went on the journey of finding how to heal his body without handing his power over to the medical industry. Sure, he had to have the chemo because when he discovered his tumour, it was doubling every 24 hours. But it certainly left his body very, very scarred, and he was able to get rid of the scarring within his body in less than a year, which the doctors thought was amazing because it usually takes 3 to 4 years to get rid of all the scarring. Also, what's happening in the medical industry, and there's been so much talk, is the truth about cancer, what's really going on. And if you hadn't had a look at that, I'd certainly suggest you have a look at it, because there are so many cures for cancer out there. Yes, so many cures. The other area that's also polarizing people at the moment is the truth about vaccines, what's really going on there. And whether you're for vaccines or not, certainly find out the facts. But one of the biggest things with this whole talk is that fact that we have been taken out of the equation. We no longer have the right to make a decision. In fact, the governments are stepping in and saying, well, if you don't take that vaccination, then we're not going to pay you and we're actually going to stop your child from going to school. Well, maybe that's a good thing. But still, the point is, as sovereign beings, we have a right to have a choice. And it seems like the systems are taking away our choices and just putting us further and further into a small box and telling us, you must do this and you must do that. So our free will is not there. Sure, we can have free will about whether we believe it or not, but certainly the outside influences are doing everything to keep people in a box of fear. And really, that's not what's happening. So this is a really good time to be alive, believe it or not, and to wake up and realise that we're stepping out of the enslavement system and that we're taking back our power. You know, science and history is even changing. Some time ago, Göbekli Tepe was discovered in southeastern Turkey, which was roughly built over 20,000 years ago. It's an ancient civilization, older than the Incas and the Mayas. And it's not just an ancient civilization, it's an ancient advanced civilization. Their knowledge that they have was greater than we have now. Their technologies they had were greater than we have now. And they are just unearthing more and more discoveries with this. Also, in the sea off the coast of Greece, they also discovered a city under the earth which also has ancient technologies. So even history, which tells us that we've only been around for 5,000 years, is getting a shake-up, because science is actually proving through their ice core, that their samples that they're taking, that we are far and beyond what we've been taught in history. So our history books were tampered with in the 1940s during the war and totally changed. So unfortunately, what we're teaching the kids is not correct. So this is why everybody's at the point of, you know, shaking their hands in the air and saying, enough is enough. And we're taking back what is that called our sovereignty, we the global public. So even the earth has been upset, and we know that the earth has a lot of earthquakes, but the earth also has a resonance called the Schumman Resonance. And the earth's resonance is normally at 8 hertz, so the frequency of 8 hertz. In the last 18 months to 2 years, the Schumman Resonance has been going up to 16 hertz. And what we find that just before Christmas and also a little after Christmas, the frequency went up to around 39 and 40 hertz. And right over the Easter period, there was a huge spike in the Schumman resonance, and it went up to 90 hertz. So we're on the planet, we're also affected by this frequency. So what it's showing us, and science has analysed it, that our brain waves are being trained. And what that actually means is they're getting an upgrade. Our brain waves are being drawn along into this higher frequency. So whether you like it or not, you're in the shift. So the earth is having a shift, our consciousness is having a shift, and it's shifting into higher levels of reality, or into higher awareness. So from that 3rd to 5th dimension. So no longer are we just seeing the things that happen in our external world and saying that's reality. We're starting to realize that reality is actually starting on the inside, and the outside is just a projection of it. So this is over the Easter period. There was that spike of more of a higher frequency up to 90 hertz, and this has been after it, the week after what's happening. So things have settled back down to around 40 hertz. So definitely there's an increase and there's a big shift going on. So we're feeling that spike, which is measured in as a magnetometer of Schumman resonance. There's also been things that have been happening for us physically, because our physical body is actually getting an upgrade. It's awakening. So there is some things that you may be experiencing as you're going through this acceleration. You may have felt tired, exhausted, and feeling like you've got total no energy. And at this time, you actually need to go with what your body's telling you. Most people push through it or wonder what's happening. In fact, what your body's telling you is you actually need more rest as your physical body is getting an upgrade. You might have also been experiencing some dizziness or going through some depression or feelings of hopelessness, or you're not good enough. What this new acceleration rate is doing is just showing some areas where there's some darkness still in within you, lower resonance, and it's just bringing it up to clear. Also, you might have been experiencing, especially at night, power surges. And I'm not talking about menopause, I'm talking about frequency surges where your body is being tuned in at a higher frequency, and then it's helping to awaken these deeper processes. This too shall pass if you're in the middle of it. I went through that for a little while, and certainly you start to feel like you've got your energy back, and you're starting to definitely feel like you're more alive again, and as we call, more awake. So what's actually happening is your light body is activating it. Now, I've got a wonderful number code here for the light body that you might see. It's 9111991111. So everything in our whole universe in around us has a coding, a special coding, and we use a lot of codes in Russian creator knowledge, which help to expand your consciousness. So how do we navigate the journey to higher awareness? Well, what is your point of origin? Where are you coming from? So if you're coming from a place of fear, of lack, of focused in the external world, and that is your reality, then the chances are you'll be finding that you are going through some pain and feeling pretty disconnected. But if you're going from a point of dreaming, if you're going to the point of what brings me joy, of creating what you'd like, then you are definitely on the right path to higher consciousness, into expanding your awareness. So where are you, and what are you projecting in a frequency into the external world? So your thoughts, your feelings are projected into a matrix of information. So whatever you're feeling resonates. Whatever you are projecting in your thoughts are like screens, light screens of information. Often when people worry about the past or the present, they are sending screens and frequencies and resonance of information into the matrix. And if you just want to know how you're going in your life, have a look in the outside world. Is your world in chaos, or is it in harmony? And if it's in chaos, this is telling you that you need to go in and then internally and harmonize some information inside of you. So where's your focus? What are you focused on? Have you forgotten how to dream about what you wish to create? You know, when we speak to people in workshops and webinars, we ask them, what is it that you would love to have in your life? And they often will say, well, I know what I don't want. And they start listing that. And I'll say, yeah, I know what you don't want, but what do you want? And they'll start to tell you what they want. And then they'll put a little barrier around it. Oh, well, I can't do that. For instance, I can't imagine going on a holiday because at the moment my income doesn't allow that. But this is where we put our own limitations on it, as if the only way I can go on a holiday is to create an income around it. This is part of the slavery system that's had such an influence on us. What we need to learn to do is be able to create the images in our mind and connect it with our feelings, and trust that as we do this process, it's done. Most of us get caught in the detail. How is this going to happen? All you need to do is be clear on what you want to create. Now, one of the things we did in our study group in Melbourne at the start of this year was got everybody down on the ground with magazines and start doing their vision boards. And did they have fun? There was so much joy and laughter and creation in the room. And really then what we did with that is get people to not only create that and look at it, but then do some of their controls around it using number codes or different processes that we actually do. So where are you focused? One of the things that I had to teach myself along the way, because I had a very strong mental body, was every morning I would say, what am I going to do today that brings me joy? And it doesn't need to be anything really major. It can be like, well, I'll go and have a coffee and sit with myself. Or if Brian sits and journals every morning with his soul. Or it could be that you go into the garden and put your feet on the ground and connect to Mother Earth, which is so important at this time, to actually ground the things that you want to create. You know, we see a lot of people that've done a lot of spiritual development and they're very ungrounded. They're sort of in their head, out of there. They're not physically here. And you will not actually manifest things in the physical reality unless you're physically grounded to Earth. Because that's what you're here to do. You're here. You chose this time. You have a physical body to give you sensory feedback. But it's also to then interact in your external world and to ground your physical body so that you help to build that connection between your higher consciousness and your physical body. Now, to access higher consciousness, you also have to move through your heart. Your heart is the gateway to your soul, and the language of your soul is your intuition. It was interesting. I had a girlfriend last night that has to make an important decision. And we said to her, well, what are you going to do? What's your decision? And she said, well, my heart is telling me, my intuition is telling me yes, but my head is telling me no. And when I go and speak to people about what I should do and get their opinion, it's also keeping me really confused. And that's what happens when we don't trust our intuition and we start to listen to other people. We hear their perception of how we should do our life based on their experiences. Now, if you want to take your power back in life, what you need to do is to develop a very strong connection with your soul. And we had a lovely little process of being able to discuss things with our soul, even about what the body requires for the day. And the more that you can trust your intuition without knowing exactly how it's going to turn out and trusting it, once you practice this a lot and start using this in the external world, it makes it so much easier. Because your soul has the bigger picture. It sees what's happening and it does everything because it's working for you. Just like your higher energies or creator or God, whatever you want to call it, is working for you, not against you. It's just that the systems, particularly the religious systems, have kept us so disconnected from that connection, thinking that we need to go through somebody to get to have that connection to source or creator energy. In fact, the connection is through your soul, through your intuition. So develop that intuition and start trusting it, even if it doesn't seem to make sense, and you'll be beautifully surprised when you do. So in Russian creator knowledge, what we do is bridge the spirituality and science. And it's just more than words and numbers and images. It's actually a technology. And when you understand the technology to reality, then you'll understand that everything around you, you influence. Everything around you, you can change. It actually helps to put you back in the driver's seat and really understand that the power is with you and not with somebody else. So just for today and for the next week, I'd love you to focus in on what brings you joy and start focusing on things that you would like to create in your life, and just watch when you start putting up your own personal barriers, because that's just telling you the little programs that are there. And if you can think of your logical mind like a computer program that's got a virus in it, just imagine you press delete, erase, and get rid of those programs. We've got some really great YouTube videos which are going to give you a lot more information. You can jump onto our website. You'll see the link below and jump onto YouTube from there, and you'll find a lot of information, or jump on our Facebook page or Twitter and you'll understand what we're talking a lot more about. So enjoy your day, enjoy creating, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.